HBO Max. This apparently premiered at South by Southwest last year, and it's now getting its release on HBO Max. It stars Jenna Ortega, Maddie Ziegler as two high school students. And in the wake of a school tragedy, Veda, Mia, and their other friend Quentin form a unique and dynamic bond as they navigate the never linear, often confusing journey to heal in a world that feels forever changed. I don't think I sung my praises about Jenna Ortega in Scream 5 because she was definitely a highlight, one of the better parts of Scream 5. Here, she is fucking phenomenal. I don't think I've seen a better performance in a coming of age type of movie in a long time. Jenna Ortega just portrays this character with all the vulnerability that a character like this should be portrayed as. She captures every raw emotion that this character is feeling after, that school tragedy, a school shooting. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people go through PTSD and have a lot of trauma and really cannot leave their house after something like that happens, that they survived and that was literally happening a couple hundred feet away from them, maybe even less than a couple hundred feet away from them. And Jenna Ortega takes all of these raw emotions and just creates a character that is able to boil all those raw emotions up inside with those that she's closest with, like her family, but is able to just blossom into a completely different person when she's around people that she's interacting with who have survived this unfortunate tragedy. And taking all these raw emotions and just having this character blossom and evolve before our eyes made this movie watchable for me. And let's talk about the writer and the director, Megan Park, I think her name was. What a debut. This script is so smartly crafted, and the direction that she takes with these characters, it is so smart as to how she is able to portray a lot of these feelings and what these characters are using as coping mechanisms to get past this unfortunate tragedy. People cope in their own ways when something tragic happens, whether it's what's portrayed in this movie, which is a school shooting, a death in the family, or maybe even a car accident. And I bet that there are victims that have to cope like this. And somehow she was just able to add energy to the characters and the story that surrounded these characters that populated this movie. What she does so brilliantly, and it's where I feel like other filmmakers would fail, is that the beginning of the movie is the school shooting, but you don't actually see the school shooting take place. You hear it, but you don't see it. There's so much tension in that moment, and it's just even more haunting and cryptic not seeing it. You're like a fly on the wall. Hearing what is happening and not actually witnessing it in a film is a lot more cryptic to me than actually seeing it, because if you're seeing it, I feel like that takes away a lot of the tension and the emotional depression that you are feeling in that scene. A lot of other filmmakers would have just taken the easy route and showed the entire school shooting, and Megan Park doesn't. There's not as much of an impact if you do that, and Megan Park understood the assignment. And I'm just going to tell you right now, this is not going to be a movie for everyone. It's very meaty, it has a lot of weight, and it's heavy, for sure. And when I first heard that this movie was about a school shooting, or the aftermath of a school shooting, I should say, one film came to mind, and that was Mass with Jason Isaacs. It's not the same movie, but the subject matter is very similar. If you haven't seen Mass, definitely check it out. It's a self-contained drama. It takes place mostly in one room, and it's all dialogue, but definitely check it out. This film reminded me of that for some reason. It feels as if that most of their tones are the same, but they're completely different movies. And I love how you can draw comparisons to other movies that touch on the same subject matter but aren't the same thing. This movie's a lot funnier than I thought it was going to be, especially with how heavy it gets in some parts. And while I think a movie like this needs a lighter tone, there should be some comedic effect in many scenes. I just think that at times, not all the time, that it was a detriment to this film, because I think that there were jokes that Megan Parks went for that didn't necessarily need to fit that scene, or didn't have to be in that scene, or just felt a little bit elongated. And I could see a lot of people really thinking that this is a superbly made film, but then there's others that I feel will think that this is very indulgent film. Me, I didn't think that way. I thought that this was a smartly crafted, smartly written, heavy, meaty observation of someone who is a victim of a tragedy and how they cope with that tragedy and what PTSD can actually do to somebody as young as a high school student. And Jenna Ortega's performance is electric. The direction is smart. The tension in the beginning is very, very well realized. I think the tone needed to be scaled back at a couple moments in the film. It's a film that's not going to be for everyone. I mean, we're only a month into the year. This is the best movie I've seen all year. No offense to Scream 5, because I really love Scream 5, but this was what I wanted from a coming-of-age movie. It's a very different coming-of-age movie, because usually coming-of-age movies can feel the same, but this took an approach that is meaty, heavy, and super serious, but added a little bit of lightheartedness and was able to craft a coming-of-age story around that was actually really interesting and engaging to watch. I am going to say I could watch The Fallout with a full bucket of popcorn. I'm not going to say I enjoyed watching the movie. It's a very hard movie to watch on replay value because it is so heavy and deep and layered and meaty at that, but it is a really good movie. If you haven't checked it out yet, check it out. It's on HBO Max now. I think it came out like yesterday. But if you have seen The Fallout, I want some feedback. Drop me some feedback in the comment section below. I'll leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.